Wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God's control the water.
Welcome everyone to the final game of the second round of the Bona Cup for 2020, presented by SB Unfurled. Bona commenter here with SB Unfurled, getting you ready for a huge matchup tonight between the 1968 team with the Iron 5 against the 2000 squad. Unfurled, what do you think about tonight's game?
This is going to be it's going to provide some good matchups. We saw Big Bob Lanier earlier this week. I think he has a challenging opponent inside in Caswell Cyrus, who one of the best defensive big men that we've had at St. Bona. He's the all-time shot block leader for the Bonnies. This team, 1968, is our only team to ever go undefeated in one season. So they have 5 guys that played every game. They played almost all the minutes. I think the next highest guy was at 12 or 13 games played. So they're going to have the same 5 guys on the floor the whole time, most likely. And they're going up against a team that is very balanced, very deep. You got 3 guys coming off the bench who are very capable scorers, Prado and Bremer among them. And then on the outside, Kalba going to have a tough matchup against Tim Wynn. We said this last week, probably the best defensive guard that we have had in school history. So 2000, just a great defensive team, a balanced team. I think we're going to have a good game. I know 68 has the Dauber down low, and that's nothing anyone in this tournament might be able to match up with, but I think they have what it takes to make this not only a game, but to pull this off and advance in the Bona Cup.
Yeah, we saw great games out of Cyrus and then Passon against 1983. So do you think they'll be able to neutralize Big Bob down low?
I don't think Bob's going to score 49 like he did on
Only
Monday.
46.
That was incredible. And that was senior Bob Lanier, a 95 overall. This is sophomore Bob. He's a 92, still a force inside, but they might do a little bit of a better job, I think, inside on Lanier. And don't forget, Bill Butler, probably better than anyone else other than Lanier on that 1970 team. So he has a solid stud number 2 that's going to be very tough for 2000. But again, 2000 just such a good defensive team. They'll have Capers out on the wing on him probably a lot. Capers a good athletic defender. So, but it's not only Lanier, they'll have Bill Butler, and as you see, Bill Kalba as well.
Yeah, everybody was getting in their final photos of the Olean Armory. This is the final game here before we head to the Riley Center for the Bona Cup Final Four. It's a very historic night here in Olean.
Absolutely. John Hayes, he's a solid power forward for this 68 team. There you see Bill Butler. They also have Jim Saddlein on this team, who of course went on to coach. He was the coach for that 1977 team that our current team upset in the first round.
That's right. He makes his return. He was on the sidelines coaching in that game, but they lost to 2021, and now he's back, but he's now suiting up a little bit, turning back the clock for him.
Yeah. So he coached Jim Barron, who is now coaching against his playing self. A lot of weird stuff going on in this tournament.
So who do you think would be most likely to coach whenever the sad day comes that Mark Schmidt's no longer at Bona? Is like which one of his players is going to take over?
Ooh, if we're going only with players, that's a great question. I know Ralph he was on the staff actually after he graduated. I don't know if he'd have any interest. Seems like, Schmidt didn't coach Vanderpool, but Vanderpool looking like he's going to get an NBA job. I would love to see Steve Curran just step right in and take over too. He wants to be a head coach.
trying to think of a current player. I could see Stockard one day after retiring. I could see him rocking a suit on the sideline. I don't know.
Yeah.
I could see it. I feel
Yeah,
like he
maybe.
has like a very coach presence. I could see it. All right, let's get tipped off here in the final game of the Bona Cup second round. Winner plays the 2018 team. And 1968 gets the tip as we are underway. Passes into Hayes. No good there. Caswell Cyrus with the board. We had to remove the three-point line since 2018 was the home team last night. And that will go out of bounds to the 68 squad.
2000 has a few really good three-point shooters in Bremer and Prado. Wynn likes to shoot it. Caper's a good three-point shooter, so they're going to have to find a way, and I think they can, like 2021 can as well, to kind of readjust their game and get inside a little bit.
Nearly stripped there by for Calbaugh, but he gets it back here with 5 on the shot clock. Into the lane, up against Cyrus. That shot won't fall. Tim Wynn over to Cyrus. Cyrus up off the glass and in to get the scoring going. 1 minute in, 2000.
Cyrus got a mismatch down low with Calbaugh and was able to go right up on him. Easy, too, to start this game off.
Calbaugh is denied by Cyrus. Second time he went up against Cyrus, and that time he paid for it. Prado, the deep two. No good. He's going to miss the three-point line tonight. Oh, and the pass into Satlin, who puts it in to get 68 on the scoreboard.
Yeah, if you're 68 and you want to attack Cyrus, you better do it with Bob Lanier, maybe John Hayes.
Oh, Satlin on the defensive end gets the strip and steal. Bob Lanier near him. He's been quiet for the first 2 minutes at least. Satlin no good. Prado with the board.
First 4 shots for 68 taken by Calbaugh and Saddle and not getting it to Lanier so far.
Van Possen, a little bit of a mismatch down low. He gets it off the glass and in. PvP. This is your first game watching us here in the Armory. Some of the lines are slightly off, but the players know where they should be. For instance, you'll see some of the guys shooting free throws at the top of the arc, but that's still 15 feet. The basket's just a little weird. Van Possen with the rebound there. Caper's getting out in transition, but he'll hold it back. Oh, he'll kick it into Tim Wynn. Tim Wynn denied by the bottom of the rim, but PvP gets the board, and Billy Butler will pick up his first foul. He's not happy with that call.
Looked like he got Van Possen hard on the arm. I don't know what he's arguing about there. The big man using his strength to get up and get to the line.
Of course, we mentioned it in the game against 83. Van Possen, probably one of, if not the strongest player physically in the weight room to ever play for the Brown and White.
I'll have to look up what his strength numbers are in this game, probably a 98 or 99.
First shot misses there off the back iron. Spent plenty of time in the weight room with Coach Fisk with his time in Allegheny. Unlike most of the games that broadcast, this game is actually in Olean. Instead of when they say, oh, we're in Olean, when it's really St. Bonaventure. Yeah. Both free throws there missed for PvP. Calbaugh now. We have an early 4-2 lead for the Millennium squad. He goes up against Cyrus again, but that time it goes. Third time those two have faced off, and finally Calbaugh makes it.
Calbaugh usually the one to dish it inside to Lanier, posting up. He's taking it himself early.
Tim Wynn misses, and Satlin with the board. I don't think Bob Lanier's even touched the ball so far. Of course, he tried to pick and roll there, but it's denied and stolen by PvP.
Yeah, they need to start feeding Lanier.
We're feeding Cyrus right now on the low block there, and he gets it off the glass and in.
Cyrus was our player of the game in that 2000 versus 83 game, this 2000 team. That was really the only blowout of the first round.
We've had nothing but chalk here in the second round with 70 and a swat there. There's Big Bob's first appearance tonight, and he gets it in. The dauber off the glass and in. Like we said, this would be if 1968 wins, we'd have all chalk in the second round because 1970 and 1961 won earlier this week, and of course last night 2018 pulled off the victory.
Yeah, those 4 teams that had byes in our tournament, 4 top seeds.
Capers with a rebound off Calbaw's miss down low. Prado now. He almost got stripped. Into Van Passen. Backing down Billy. Butler out to win. Shot clock winding down for Prado. He'll try to get around his man. He can't. Fires from deep. He makes the tough shot with the shot clock near 0.
Prado is off to a cold start. Hit that contested. A long 2 there. We're going to have a timeout.
Timeout. Coach Weesey will take a timeout. So do we have more 1968 or 2000 music tonight?
Oh, you're hearing it right now. A little 1968. We'll have some 2000. Both years had some great hits. Very different, but 68 with that classic rock, and then 2000 we had, some great hip hop hits. Maybe we have some Nelly in here again.
I think the last game for 2000 might have been the best musical game of the tournament so far with 83
Oh,
for
yeah.
2000.
Yeah, just so many hits from the early 80s and then from 2000, the 99, 2000.
Yeah.
We had a little Born to Be Wild there.
8-6 here, 15:07 left to go in the first half. Winner will take on the 2018 team, the last team to win an NCAA tournament game. Of course, had that great win over UCLA in Dayton.
And before that, this 2000 team was the last team to get an at-large bid.
Shot clock winding down. Billy Butler with desperation does not fall.
Thanks to that crook Joe Castiglione.
Bob Lanier with a steal. Out to Hayes, and he is denied by PvP. Tim Wynn out all alone off the glass, and he lays it in. 10-6, a strong start on both ends for 2000 early, holding the 68 squad to only 6 points.
Yeah, you're seeing what a good defensive team they are, inside and outside. Good defenders
reaching
all
foul
over.
there for Tim Wynn. That'll be his first. We get a couple subs coming in.
This 2000 team defensively was almost top 50 in the country in points allowed per game. They only allowed 64 points a game that year.
Younger J.R. Bremer checks in for the first time. Calbaugh into the lane, out to Hayes. Could easily shoot that shot if we had the three-point line, but we don't. Cyrus with the rebound. And 6, slower scoring start here, especially for the 68 squad. Cyrus gets the mismatch, and he puts it in. The big man, so far, when you're competing against Bob Lanier, at least it's younger Bob Lanier, but he's holding his own right now, Cyrus.
Yeah, 68 switching on that screen. I don't know why they're still doing that. Cyrus was able to get a mismatch with Calbaugh, and Lanier had Tim Wynn on the perimeter. They need to stop switching on those big man screens.
Calbaugh being tightly guarded by Tim Wynn. That shot's not going to work. That's not what you want, a Tim Wynn guarded desperation heave at the end of the shot clock. Wynn now in the corner again. Into Cyrus.
Another mismatch.
He'll take the jumper, but it still falls. Calbaugh keeps getting switched on to Cyrus, and now Cyrus is 4 of 5 early. He's got more points than all of 68.
He's not going to miss those if he is 5'10", 5'11" Calbaugh on him. He has a whole foot advantage
Lanier,
on Calbaugh.
turnaround jumper for him does not fall. Look at the rebounding advantage for 2000. And a backcourt violation by Wynn. For some reason, this 2000 squad just is disoriented by the Smokey Olean Armory.
We had that happen a couple times with Wynn last game.
Coach Weesey wants to talk things over
He
here.
really wants to win and get to the Riley Center.
Of course, like we saw there right before the backcourt violation, 2000 out to a really significant rebounding advantage early on. Are you surprised by that?
Boy, they're forcing a lot of bad shots, which means 68's missed a lot, and they're just a good defensive rebounding team. I'm not too surprised by it because they have two really good rebounding bigs in Cyrus and Van Passen, but Lanier, he's going to get going eventually. It's going to be tougher for him to get offensive rebounds like we saw last game.
What's the biggest difference for those who may not be aware of, like, the difference between sophomore Lanier and senior Lanier?
He's a 92 and he goes up 3 points to a 95. Just overall across the board, he increased on pretty much everything, but especially I think offensively around the basket, maybe even a little bit of a mid-range game. Just really refined his skills in those 2 years around the basket.
Tim Wynn had to heave it from, that was really far out. That was almost at the beef and barrel.
It's a long two-pointer. This team's gone almost over 4 minutes without a bucket. 68.
Billy Butler being tightly guarded there. Calbaugh is stripped by Tim Wynn. And J.R. Bremer gets out. The tough layup can't fall. Billy Butler helping out there in transition. Jim Satlin now over to Calbaugh. How's the stamina on this squad, considering they're going to be playing basically 40?
It's up there. It's they're all probably in the 90s. You got to be in great shape to be playing 40 minutes a game for 25 full games almost.
Kyle Lofton would fit in perfectly on this team, huh?
Yes, he would.
Oh, the Dauber with a swat, and he saves it from going out of bounds. Two big plays there for sophomore Bob Lanier.
This team hasn't scored in about 5 minutes. Maybe that'll finally get them going. They need a spark.
This has to be easily the lowest scoring first quarter that we've seen so far. 6 points out of 68. Calbaugh into the lane. And that one won't fall as the ice-cold start continues for 68. Tim Wynn now. Looking to get some help from Cyrus. Cyrus tightly guarded. Bremer's going to have to heave it. Front rim, no. Last possession here for the Iron Five. Calbaugh into Bob Lanier off the glass and in. First bucket in over 5 minutes for the 1968 team. That shot will miss, and we will go into the under 10 media timeout with the 2000 squad having a great defensive performance. Caswell Cyrus controlling things early down low as they lead the Iron Five by 6. And welcome back to the Olean Armory, designed in the late 1800s and been resurrected from Bona lore for the Bona Cup. As this is our final game of the Olean Armory Regional. We've had some pretty interesting matchups down here with the 52 squad and the 83 team, some of the 2002 squad, some of the lesser heralded teams when you think about some of the all-time greats like 70 and this team, 60 and 2000 and 2018.
Yeah, and such an exciting matchup. Bremer and Green versus Mobley and Adams. That's the one I wanted to see.
Van Passen, quick turnaround jumper with the shot clock at 0 does not fall. It's Jim Satlin, who coached earlier on in this tournament for the 77 NIT champs. Got eliminated by the modern team. He'll miss that jumper in the lane. 17 rebounds already for the 2000 squad with a rebounding advantage, but Satlin will get the steal into Calbaugh. Oh, and he is swatted all the way into the crowd by Caswell Cyrus, flexing on him.
Calbaugh having a tough time underneath and outside. If he's on the outside, Wynn's locking him down. If he goes inside, Cyrus is swatting him. This team needs to start getting it to Lanier. Shouldn't have to tell him
Satlin
that.
now dribbles it off Cyrus's knee. Weasley picks it back up. There's Bremer. Of course, like Bob Lanier, this is probably a slightly lesser version of himself. His higher rated version was in 2002 as a senior. Ooh, Capers gets it off the tip by Butler and puts it in. Capers with his first points.
Capers averaged 11 points, 4 rebounds. Such a great overall player.
Ooh, almost another steal by Tim Wynn, but it will go off him out of bounds and stay with his iron 5.
Tim Wynn caught a little of the first game. He's in the chat room getting active. Saw them take down 1983.
Capers with the steal. He's going to go off the glass. No good, but Van Passen off and the rebound and in. Tim Wynn, if you're listening to us right now, get in touch with us if you guys win. Or if you don't win. We want you here for the Final Four.
Yeah, back in the Riley Center. Winner of this would get 2018.
No good there for Bob Lanier. But the second effort works for the Dauber. Do you know the origin of the name Dauber?
I don't. I know he has a couple of nicknames. Big Cat was also a nickname I think he had for a while when he was
I love
younger.
the Dauber.
Dauber.
It just sounds so
Absolutely.
The Dauber. It's unique too.
It is.
Capers' free throw line jumper does not fall. The Dauber with a rebound. Imagine that was an option in 2K where they're like, the Dauber. The Dauber.
Big Cat is an option. I think I gave him that.
That is true. Wasn't Marcus Santos Silva?
Yeah.
Oh, he's Big Dog. He's
Big Dog, yeah. Oh, maybe.
Timeout
Big
here.
Dog.
Timeout here for Jim Barron in the 2000 squad. What are we listening to while I look up what the origins of the Dauber is?
Let's hear. What do we got here? Oh, this is the Beatles.
Video.
1968. You can't have 1968 music without the Beatles. Come on.
Exactly. We got so the Dauber is a combination of the words Bob and Big Dipper.
Big Dipper.
Yeah.
Huh. I didn't know that.
That's what it says here.
That's what you come to the Bona Cup for. Is that?
Huh. On NBA.com.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Very
Detroit Pistons
reliable
legend
source
Bob
there.
Lanier nicknamed the Dauber as a way of combining Bob and the Big Dipper.
Big Dipper.
Whoever made it must love constellations, apparently.
I like it.
David Capers into the lane. Oh, it sounds cool. Off the glass and in. 20 points for 2,000. 42% shooting, which is pretty decent, but only quarter of the shots are falling for the Iron 5.
Another good nickname, David Messiah Capers, Run DMC.
That's another good one. We got to have an all-nickname team.
The Iron Man 5, also a great nickname.
We got to start thinking of that. What's another one?
Yeah.
PvP's up there. I don't know how big it is. Swaggy J for Jalen Adams. Cyrus.
Yeah, that was more
in.
his freshman, sophomore year, I feel like.
Yeah.
Baby J.
Nicholson, the professor.
Yeah. I think Cyrus is the eraser in this game, as is Shun, but you know he's got the Shun squad already.
Right, but I'm talking about real life nicknames, not the 2K
Not ones
presets. Because then everybody who has like a T in their name is like T
Yeah.
or B.
That's why we're announcing these, so it's not just
Exactly.
repetitive Kevin Harlan saying letters the whole day.
It'd be like Tim Wynn would be like Dubs
Yep. He is Dub. Maybe T. Can't remember.
into C Train or something like that's what it would be. Cyrus. Oh, he's denied by the Dauber. Satlin into Lanier. Oh, he'll put it in and get the foul. Cyrus, maybe a little bit frustrated with that swat, comes on defense and fouls Lanier.
Nice find there inside the cutting Dauber. A little shove in the back, but he finished. He got right up and a little fist pump.
Big 3-point play here to get 68 within 5. And it falls. Going to need more offensive performances like that possession for the 68 squad because they've been locked down tremendously for the most part. A foul has been called. An illegal screen by Tim Wynn away from the ball. He is livid about that.
Yeah, you don't call those in the Armory. To fire these refs.
They're not allowed back into the Riley Center. 5:16 left to go in the first half. 2000 up by 5. Cow ball into the lane. Over to Lanier. Lanier can't get that one over Cyrus.
We will have to find out what the Riley Center court looked like in 1970. So it's realistic for them. And then we know what it looked like in 2018.
That's what it looks like now. Oh, and Capers tried to go up and under, and he is called for the travel. Picked up that pivot foot there. So we're going to be doing, so for the 1970, 68 or 1970-61 game, that'll be like the 70 court.
They'll have their home court, 1970 design. If I can find what it looked like, hopefully I can. And
I mean, I'm sure it's got to be an Unfinished Dreams.
Yeah, it must be.
Hayes with the shot clock winding down, tightly guarded by Cyrus. Desperation heave does not fall. Messiah with the board.
And because we know who the home teams will be, as Prado with the green release,
swish.
step back from the short corner, puts him up 7. You know, we know who the home teams will be in the Final Four. We have the top 2 seeds advancing. So our first game, no three-pointer. And then the other game, we will have a three-point line.
And then, of course, it depends on who wins. If 70 does make it to the Bona Cup final, there won't be a three-point line. There was a three-pointer, or what would be a three-pointer if we had one, but it misses, and a shot clock violation is another strong defensive possession there for 2000. Of course, these final 4 games and final game of the Bona Cup will be the Eastern Conference and Western Conference final, and the final, of course, will be the NBA final. That shot misses for Messiah. Billy Butler in the lane, no good. Oh, passes it out to Satlin. Calbaugh. Team's really working it around, and oh my goodness! That's not even a swat. That was a palming of the ball in midair. If you told me, oh, a dunk there by Messiah, and Coach Weesey is upset with those last 2 possessions, and a timeout is called. If you had told me that Oshun didn't have the block of the tournament, I would have been surprised, honestly, because that right there has to be the block of the Bona Cup so far.
Yeah, if we can even call it a block, like you said. You can't go up soft like that and try to finger roll something with Cyrus in front of you.
A mid-air steal, basically, is what that was.
On one end, and then on the other end, Prado with a nice dish to a cutting Messiah and throws down a tomahawk. What a sequence for 2000, and they look like they are, not only do they want to win this, they look like they could win the whole thing so far. Just a great half for this team. Even though they only have 26 points, they're not too inefficient, and they're playing great defense.
Billy Butler misses. Neither of us filled out brackets on challenge, but I remember saying in the selection show that I had 2000 going to the final against 70.
It's a good pick.
Yeah. Not jinx it, though. We got plenty of time left. There's only down 9 with 2.5 left to go. Capers into the lane, off the glass, and puts it in. 6 points for Capers as 2000 gets out to their first double-digit lead of the ballgame.
Capers was a major fan favorite in his day. As Calbaugh again misses.
Rebound for Lanier. He puts it in, and Big Bob has been held quiet for the most part. He's getting some of those offensive boards, but in terms of the offensive sets, he's not really touching the ball.
Yeah, too many shots inside by guys not named Lanier for this 68 team. Especially with a big defensive presence like Cyrus inside and Van Possen.
Shot clock winding down. Capers' desperation shot does not go. Calbaugh with the board. 28-19. 2000 is up. Winner of this will play the 2018 team who we saw knock off the slightly older version of some of these 2000 guys like J.R. Bremer in the 2002 squad yesterday here in the Armory. Butler from the free throw line does not go. Cyrus with the board. Out to Cheeks. Cheeks puts it in. Robert Cheeks is another one of those guys who played on both 2000 and 2002.
And Prado and Messiah.
Exactly. Capers into the lane. He gets it over Calbaugh and in. A 10-2 run for the 2000 squad as they have their largest lead now of 13. Tim Wynn, tough defense, and it goes off Calbaugh, and it will go to the Millennium squad.
2000 just playing excellent. This 68 team is one of the best teams in Bona history. Like I said, they went undefeated during the regular season, beat Villanova, beat Xavier, Duquesne.
Lanier gets it in that one with the jumper. That one falls. Needed back bucket there for 68.
We beat Boston College in the NCAA tournament. Scored 102 points in that game.
No good there. 102, I believe, was our high of the tournament by the 2016 squad in the opener.
Yeah, and this team did it without a three-point line. They ended up losing to North Carolina, who was a number 4 team in the country.
And Hassan stole there, and Prado with a shot. He'll be fouled by Bob Lanier. Big Cat's first foul just before the half.
This team was ranked in the top 5 of the country. Top 5 ranking from all the way from late January until the final rankings. They ended the year 3rd in the country. So this team is an excellent, excellent team. But 2000 they look the part today, as they did last week.
Impressive defensive performance so far, only holding 68 to 21 points in almost 20 minutes as Prado misses the first free throw there. A couple missed free throws here, though, for this 2000 squad. They could make this lead even bigger.
Yeah, this 68 team with Lanier, they scored 103, 102, 101, 97, 97, 96, 94, 93. I mean, that's without a 2-point line or a 3-point line.
You'd have some West Coast NBA type scores out of them if they had a 3-point line. As Calbaugh dribbles it up with 4 on the clock before the half. He'll fire from deep, and that one is off the front of the rim. And we go into the Olean Armory locker rooms with the Dauber being held pretty quiet by this decisive and stifling 2000 Millennium defense, as the Millennium squad leads at the half by a significant margin as we go into the SB Unfurled and Friends halftime show.
And a little Mighty Quinn hit from the late
mighty,
these Manfred men.
Yeah, a couple mighty dunks by the 2000 team in this one. We'll see if we can see some of them. Some of them were definitely in the second quarter. Cyrus, a couple mismatches early on against Calbaugh, definitely helped him get going early.
And Wynn has held Calbaugh, and I mean the whole team really, because Calbaugh's all over the court. They have held him. I don't think he's scoreless, but he has been very inefficient in the first half.
Bob Lanier, though, with 11 points, it does not feel like it. It just seems like every time on offense they are not going through him, and I would guess the majority of those points have been on offensive boards.
Yeah, they need some major halftime adjustments here as we look at the box score. 11 and 9 for the Dauber, 5 of 9 field goals.
Nobody else over 5 points. Only 3 other players scored, actually. As we got Caswell Cyrus with a double-double already, 10 and 12. Capers came on a little bit late in the second quarter. Tim Wynn been quiet on offense, but he has had a very, very good defensive performance. 2 steals already, almost had a third. and he forced the ball to go out of bounds off Calba on one possession. So that's really basically a steal.
Yeah, he's doing a good job running the offense, feeding Cyrus in good positions, getting the ball to Cyrus when he has those mismatches. And then, of course, the defense on the outside on Calba as we take a look. Look at that shot chart. Ugly for Calba.
Yeah, and a lot of shots outside of what would be the three-point line. So that tells us that they are just in absolute desperation mode with the shot clock winding down and not able to get any open shots on offense. As we look at the halftime stats here, the largest lead was 13 as the 2000 squad now leads by 12. They are all over the defensive, or all over the glass on both ends, really. 28-21 advantage for the Millennium guys.
And you're talking about Bill Butler. I mean, this is a guy who averaged 23 points and 9 rebounds this season, getting held to 0 points, 0 field goals. So not just on Calba and even Lanier, but they're just doing a great job on all of these guys.
One final time in the armory. Bicycle Man. Oh, standing up on the handlebars there as Lanier is been carrying this team with 11 points early on, but it's not really been in the offensive game flow. It's really been a bunch of second chance points for him.
Yeah, I don't know why they aren't feeding him as much as they should be. You have more Calba and even Sadlin trying to do it inside. We'll see if they must have made adjustments at
See what
half.
Coach Weesey makes coming out of the locker room. Cyrus now into the lane. Oh, it is altered. It is tipped a little bit by Lanier.
Here,
Big
got
block
him.
there for him.
Got him with the body there. No call.
They're not going to call that in the armory. Double teamed and a 3-second call for Lanier. He was not moving at all in the paint. Nice defense once again. That has been the story of this game. If you're just joining us here in the second half, the 2000 squad has suffocated the 68 team, who is shooting less than 30% right now. And another swat there for Van Passen, but the second effort goes for Hayes. John Hayes getting the scoring going already for the 68 team. Tim Wynn, a little bit of acrobatics on the layup and puts it in to get the lead back to 12.
Almost looked like that and one layup he had against Kentucky. The body control in the air, the up and under. Beautiful by Wynn.
Oh, Prado denies the lob inside. Cyrus all alone. Was a little bit surprised by that and kind of hesitated on that layup, and that was why it missed as Hayes spins into the lane over to the Dauber. Lanier tightly guarded by Cyrus, and it does not fall. Tim Wynn now on the sideline. He goes into the lane, shoots it over Lanier, and it does not go. Tim Wynn can't be shooting over Lanier very often. As Lanier on the offensive end puts it in, 35-25. Tim Wynn with it once again. Cyrus, who's been the offensive leader for 2000, he got position, but he kind of did not have the right angle under the hoop and misses the layup as it gets passed into Satlin. After the tough defensive performance on that last play, he goes back and scores on offense and a timeout for Coach Barron.
Beautiful pass inside from Calba into Saddle and cutting to the hoop. 68 cut this to 8 and look a little bit better, I think, getting Lanier involved. If they can get Bill Butler going, they can absolutely make this a game. So much time left. They're only down 8.
If 68 is going to pull this one off, do you think it should be a strategy of feeding Lanier as much as possible, which we've seen out of some of the bigger stars, of course, like Lanier from 1970, or should it be even distribution of the points?
I think you feed Lanier when he does have those one-on-one matchups inside. Won't be surprised if 2000 start double teaming him like we saw earlier this week, and then get Bill Butler going on the wing. I mean, he is one of the all-time greats. If he can get going as well, you got those two scoring and the others, rebounding and distributing. They can make this a game.
Cyrus, ooh, a nice little move to get the baby hook there. 37-27, the winner of this game plays the 2018 team next Tuesday in the Bona Cup Final Four. And is that going to be another? Oh, that was almost another attempted steal that went off Calball out of bounds, but Bob Lanier saves it. Hayes, the little pump fake, gets Van Passen to bite and lays it in.
Nice pump fake there. Got Van Passen to leave his feet, and then the easy lay-in. Back down to 8.
68 slowly starting to improve their shooting percentage, but Tim Wynn gets the open lane and puts it in. 6 points for Tim Wynn. Not the most stellar offensive performance, certainly, that we've seen in the Bona Cup, but his defense has been outstanding and absolutely crucial in this one.
And now we see Capers out there on Bill Butler, another good matchup. Good matchups all over the court in this one. Cyrus and Lanier inside as well.
Calbaugh once again up against Tim Wynn, and another miss for Calbaugh to show off how well Tim Wynn has been doing on defense. As Capers puts that in, to show off how well Tim Wynn has been doing on defense, you probably have to look at what Calbaugh is shooting right now.
Yeah, we saw that shot chart at halftime, and it was just blue X's all over the court, which mean misses. And he has only added more X's here so far in the first almost 5 minutes of the third quarter.
Cyrus, tough defense there, and it's corralled by Van Passen on the board. Bremer, who's been quieter tonight, he gets into the lane. The foul there by Jim Satlin as Bremer will head to the line. Of course, like Bob Lanier, this is a younger version of J.R. Bremer.
With the three-point line in the first round, Bremer was such a spark for this 2000 team, like he was in real life against that 83 team in the first round. He had back-to-back threes. He had a couple dunks. He was one of the best players on the court in that first round game.
Of course, no cornrows for 2000 Bremer. He broke those out for 2002.
Yeah, just the natural cut here for the sophomore Bremer.
Lanier gets the rebound after Bremer misses the back end of the 2 free throws, and Bremer got his hands in there on defense, and it goes out of bounds. Stays here with 68. Calbaugh, of course, we mentioned, has a very cold shooting night so far. Bill Butler being tightly guarded by Capers. Shot clock winding down. They get it into Hayes, and not sure which one blocked it, but somebody blocked it, and that's going to be a shot clock violation. Was that Capers or was that Van Passen?
I think that was Capers. I'll have to go back and look, but
I think that was Capers.
Another good defensive possession by 2000.
Wish we were keeping track of shot clock violations. It has to be at least 3 for them. Oh, Tim Wynn is stripped on the way up. It's going to go out of bounds, but it will stay with the Millennium guys. And Passen barely gets it in. Clock was winding down there for 5 seconds. Capers, no shot there. Gives it out to Wynn, who will get the screen from Cyrus. The deep 2, no good. Van Passen, though, with a rebound. He puts it in, and he takes the contact from Hayes and gets to the free throw line for the old-fashioned three-point play as 2000 has their largest lead of the game at 15.
Yeah, Lanier was out on the perimeter, and when that shot missed, Hayes is only 6'5", playing the power forward. Van Passen, much bigger at 6'11", inside, actually the tallest player on this 2000 team.
The Dutchman with the most strength in Bonaventure history, potentially, definitely showed it off there.
Yes.
14-23 left to go in this one. Lanier, he is swatted by Cyrus. Cyrus with great blocks tonight, including one that was basically a midair steal as Van Possen gets it no good. And Calbaugh with the board. Out in transition to Satlin. But he's tightly guarded by Tim Nguyen. Difficult shot does not fall. J.R. Bremer. And I think Coach Weesey wanted them to pull that out for an offensive half-court set. And Lanier comes back on this end and denies Caswell Cyrus. Largest lead of the game for the Millennium team, 45-29.
68 came out a little bit better as Butler gets it inside.
There it is. Lanier gets the pass in, and that kind of play is something we really need to see more out of the 68 squad if they want to get back in this one, as they call a timeout by Coach Barron.
Yeah, they came out a little bit better. They cut it down to 8. They look like they came out energized, but then 2000 doubled that 8-point lead, got it up to 16. Maybe that'll get Bill Butler going. Like we said earlier, this is a player who, as a senior this season, averaged 23 points and 9 rebounds. And he has been very quiet today. So you get Butler and Lanier going. Still enough time to come back in this one. But with this 2000 defense, it's going to be tough.
The Iron Five, of course, named that because they played almost every minute. Do you see anybody off the bench making any kind of spark for 68?
If they were going to come in, I think they would have already come in that first half when they really needed a spark. They were stuck at 6 or 8 points for so long.
Cyrus gets the rebound and dunks it. 12-4 run for the Millennium. Bill Butler being guarded down low by Capers. Fadeaway, though, falls.
If this team was to go to the bench, Gene Fahey or Vince Martin may come in, but those guys only average less than 2 points a game.
Capers with the running layup does not fall. 47-33, 12-30 left to go in this one. This holds. This would be our only upset of the second round, but Possen picks up the foul on Butler, who looks to trim this lead down a little bit as we see Tricio Prado come back in for David Capers for 2000. Bill Butler converts the and one. Can this Olean Armory crowd propel 68 back in this one? Now trailing by 11. Tricio Prado off the screen. He'll get another one from Van Possen. Desperation heave for Prado, no good. Satlin with the board. Hayes getting out over to Butler. Tough shot, and Van Possen corrals the rebound. Tim Nguyen looking to be the floor general that 2000 needs. Into Cyrus, and Cyrus slams it home.
Another flex for Cyrus. They got that mismatch again. Lanier stuck on the perimeter on Nguyen, and they found Cyrus underneath. Lanier tried to recover but couldn't do it in time.
49-36, 1:20 to go before our under 10 media timeout. Coach Satlin misses, but Lanier with the rebound. Tightly denied there by Cyrus as he had to kick it out to Calbaugh, who gets into the lane. Lanier with another offensive board and the putback for the Dauber.
Calbaugh still trying to go at Cyrus for some reason. Luckily, the Big Cat was there to clean up the board.
Tim Nguyen, he would have loved to have had that shot if we had a three-point line. You could tell he is upset about the new rules, or the old rules, actually. Van Possen gets it down low, and another easy dunk for 2000.
Such a size advantage inside. Lanier really the only true big. Hayes at 6'5", trying to go up against 6'11". Van Possen, when they have Van Possen and Cyrus out there.
Butler with a leaning short jumper off the glass will fall, but another tough shot. Even when they make, they're not getting easy shots, 68 is.
Everything is contested. No easy shots for this 1968 team.
Bremer into the lane. He lays it in. 40 points after 30 minutes has to be one of the lowest outputs of the Bona Cup, if not the lowest.
Yeah, and as we said, this is a very high-scoring team as well. That's just a testament to this 2000 team and their defense.
Lanier now being doubled by Wynn, and Cyrus has to shoot the desperation shot. No good, and those are the two guys you really don't want to be double-teamed by as the Millennium Squad. They partied like it's 1999 against the 80s guys, and now they're looking to take the older heads into the 21st century.
Hear the song, I'm a Believer. Do you believe in this 2000 team? Can they go the distance?
They're 10 minutes away from doing so, and they would be the only team to upset in the second round, as we had the 1 seed 70 squad, as we look at the assists of the game here. The 1 seed, the 70 Final Four team, the 4 seed, the 61 Sweet 16 squad, and the 2018 team that was the most recent one to win an NCAA tournament. All winning in the second round and all punching their tickets to the Riley Center. But who will be the last one to punch it? Will it be the 2000 team, or will the Iron Five storm back? Lanier being doubled into Hayes, and that falls. The 2000 squad is going to double Lanier when it gets kicked into him. They're going to have to execute. The other 4 guys are, or 68.
Definitely a risk you'll take if you're 2000, especially without the three-point line and no one to kick it out 2 for 3. Might as well double him down low.
Do you think? Oh, a steal for Cyrus, or pass by Cyrus. Lanier gets it out in the fast break and puts it in. Do you think Coach Barron learned from the 2016 squad when they played 1970 Lanier and decided to just let him score as much as possible and shut down the other guys?
It's definitely a risk I might take, although Butler, like I said, he is probably the best number 2 Lanier had in his career. So you're risking that, but you have the defensive players all over the court to make plays, especially with, Capers and Wynn on the perimeter.
Oh, Calba, another swap by Cyrus, but Lanier gets it back and puts it in. We got this within 10 points. It's a 9-point game.
The lowest total that 68 scored during that season was 66 against Villanova.
Jim Barron may be going back to the bench because that was not a smart shot by J.R. Bremer there. Oh, off-ball screen opens up. Bill Butler who puts it in. Now the game is within 7 as we are under 8 to play here in the Olean Armory. Winner plays the 2018 team on Tuesday.
Bill Butler finally getting going this half. He was shut down in the first half. I think he is probably up to 8 points, maybe even 10 in this second half.
Cyrus is denied by the Dauber. Bill Butler over to Calba again. Calba, the tough shot. Good defense by Bremer there as Cyrus gets the board. Look at this cold shooting night. Only 2 points for Billy Calba.
And a lot of shots, too.
Into Cyrus. Cyrus up against Lanier, and that's not going to work. Big Cat with a big block. Calba. From the free throw line, he's going to be swatted by Capers. Bremer over to Messiah. Messiah off the glass and in. First points for Messiah in a while.
You're at the point now, if you're Weesey, the only people allowed to shoot with 6.5 minutes left are Lanier and Butler.
Well, there's Lanier with one shot there to get it back to a 7-point deficit.
Unless someone's wide open underneath for a layup. Lanier and Butler are the only ones who should be shooting out of a half-court set at this point. No one else is doing anything to help this team. There are way too many empty possessions and bad shots being taken.
Coach Barron will take a timeout here. How can 68 improve their defense? Because with a 2-point game and no three-pointers, like, they can't keep trading baskets.
Yeah, every time they score, it seems like 2000 comes back and gets one right back. But 2000 has so many scoring options. They're so balanced that it's tough to guard them, especially with the size disadvantage that 68 has inside. So you just need to hope you can force some steals and some misses for 2000.
57-50 with 6:15 to go here in our final game, the Olean Armory. Tim Wynn, who's checked back in, and an offensive 3-second call on Caswell Cyrus. One of the rare mistakes that he's made tonight.
It's our second offensive 3-second call. We had one on Lanier earlier, and that's what you need too if you're 68. Hope for some unforced errors.
Oh, and a backcourt violation on Hayes. We saw one at a win earlier. He had, I think, 3 against 1983. But hasn't had any since that first one tonight. That's the first backcourt for 68.
Unacceptable. You get a gift of an offensive 3-second call, and you immediately turn it back over.
Ooh, Lanier gets his hands in there and is picked up by Butler. He gets out and runs, and it goes in, 57-52. The smallest lead for 2000 in quite a while here in the second half.
They have it down to a 3-possession game now.
Cyrus backs down Lanier, no good. Dauber with the board. Bill Butler again. No, he gives it to Hayes, and it's off, no good.
Need to take that shot if you're Butler.
Tim Wynn off the glass. He gets around Lanier and lays it in. Tim Wynn, 8 points so far, but it's been all about the defense for him tonight. Five minutes left, 59-52 in the Olean Armory. 2000 swatted by Cyrus there on the shot. Win into Messiah. Messiah gets it in the transition. 61-52, and after a 5-point lead for 2000, they've extended it back up to 9.
Some more mistakes by 68, not only the backcourt, but Butler passing up a good look there, and then Satterlin had Lanier inside, decided to try to shoot it anyway, and Cyrus was right there for the block.
Shot clock winding down. Calbaugh is going to have to fire again, and that's just going to continue his very, very frustrating night on offense. Another shot clock violation as Prado checks out. Bremer comes back in along with Van Passen for the Millennium squad.
68's had their chances, now 4 straight possessions with no shot, turnovers, or bad shots.
Wynn was almost stripped by Lanier, but it goes out of bounds and will stay with 2000. Bremer along the baseline, backing down. Gets out to Wynn now with 5 on the shot clock. Tightly guarded by Calbaugh. Oh, Lanier, I believe, blocked that with the side or his hip. And that'll be another shot clock violation, this time for 2000.
Wynn going with the finger roll into Lanier. And it was right off the Dauber's hip.
Thought he could get around him, but it's a big man to get around with those size 22 shoes.
Big possession here. You need a bucket, and you need to start showing that you can put together some good possessions after the last couple of minutes have been putrid offense for this 68 team.
Once again, no three-point shot because we're playing by 1968 rules. That shot will not fall. No points for the 68 team in over 2 minutes.
Another scoring drop for 68.
And Passen at the high block. Passes up the turnaround jumper. Shot clock winding down for Wynn. Back over to Van Passen on the other block. High block, no good. Rebound for Lanier. We're inside 3 minutes now. 9-point lead for the 2000 team. Butler, though, backing down Capers and puts it in. 15 points for Bill Butler. But they're going to need to have some big stops on defense if they want to get back into this, and a timeout for Jim Barron. Who's going to be able to stop them on defense other than Lanier?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, they've got some good stops here in the past few minutes. They've had their chances to come back. I think you just keep playing your game and hope that you can put together some better offensive sets. The issue hasn't really been the defense for 68. 2000, only 61 points. It's not exactly lighting the world on fire. It's been the offense that's been terrible, especially in the last couple minutes.
Once again, Caswell Cyrus, his second player of the game here in the Bona Cup. He may be in the running for tournament MVP. Of course, we've only seen one game out of 1970, Bob Lanier, and he scored 49 points, so he's got to be clubhouse leader right now. But
yeah, he's definitely first team all Bona Cup so far, Caswell. And, 83 didn't really have a good big man, so you're kind of like, oh, well, he didn't really have that much of a matchup issue. But doing this against Lanier tonight, phenomenal.
Of course, if 2000 were to hold on, you would think they would have the advantage down low against the 2018 team, as Bremer misses, but Van Passen with the rebound and the putback.
To answer your question from the break, that's what you can't do. Give up second chance points. You need to do a better job on the defensive glass and be able to clean those up.
Hayes tightly guarded by PvP, who gets another board. Bremer, though, tried to pull out, and a sophomore mistake for the younger Bremer, as Hayes will have the finger roll to get this back to a 7-point lead with 2 minutes left.
You needed that, a quick bucket off a turnover. Couldn't let this balloon back up to a double-digit lead.
63-56. Winner plays the 2018 team in the Riley Center next Tuesday. Tim Wynn finally gets to double digits. And that is a huge bucket, as we mentioned, if you're just joining us. No three-point line, and this one by 68 rules as Cyrus gets his hands in there to steal it. Tim Wynn dribbling it, looking to run some clock here as 2000 may start to feel the Riley Center is in their future.
Down 9, absolutely need a stop here if you want any hope of coming back in this one.
Capers with the shot clock winding down, tightly guarded by Butler. Another shot clock violation, but honestly, shot clock violation for 2000 right now is not the worst thing in the world, as Coach Weesey wants to use one of his 2 remaining timeouts.
Yeah, you're up 9. That means it is a 5-possession game. If you had a 3-point line, of course, it'd be a 3-possession game, but you need 10 points, and you need to hold 2000 to no points. That means 5 possessions with a bucket and 5 possessions stops on the defensive end. And with 1:14 left, I would put the win probability for 2000 at about 99 at this point, but we'll see what they can do. They need a quick shot here to go in.
That's of course win with 2 ends, right?
Absolutely. Capital
Inbound
W.
into Sattler. Calbaugh, who's had a very tough night, being guarded by the aforementioned Win, into Lanier. Lanier almost was baited into a charge by Cyrus, but the leading shot falls. 23 for Big Bob, although it's not nearly enough tonight.
That's what you needed, a quick 2. Took off about 10 or 11 seconds, maybe 13. You need another stop here and a quick bucket.
Bremer, the shot doesn't fall. Lanier with a rebound. Lanier trying to get out. Kicks it into Hayes, and he puts it in. And the foul on Capers. That's a huge mistake for the Millennium guys, as, like we said, since there's no 3-point way, this is the only way you can do it, literally the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, I guess I didn't take into account the and one when I said it's a 5-possession game. I thought that pass inside was going to get stolen, but turned out to be the best possible scenario for 68. You can get this to a 2-possession game, and you're still going to have to foul here with 35 seconds left.
There it is. 2-possession game, 65-61 here in the Olean Armory, and there's a foul on Calbaugh. That'll be his first. They have one more foul before they'll get into the bonus. Of course, NBA bonus rules are in effect here. And a foul there by Hayes, his second, as Tim Wynn will head to the free throw line. He's got 10 points on the night, but the defensive stats are really what you want to look at for him in this game.
Yeah, and Tim Wynn, a 78% free throw shooter. Get this back up to a 3-possession game here.
Really just needs one to put this almost at reach.
You feel like 68 just couldn't figure it out and then ran out of time. If there was 2 more minutes left, maybe this would be a game they could win, but for that first 10 minutes and then another scoring drought here in the last 10 minutes, bookended droughts for this 68 team. They couldn't really figure it out against this 2000 team.
Tim Wynn makes both free throws. As it's now a 6-point game, a 3-possession game, and a final timeout for Coach Reese. Looking to the last play in the playbook that could possibly get them back in this one. It's looking pretty tough for them.
Yeah, and with 30 seconds left, it doesn't look like they're going to advance. I guess we've seen stranger things happen, but they're going to need quick 2s and then some missed free throws, which this 2000 team is remembered for their clutch free throws against Kentucky when Capers hit 3, and he's not even a good free throw shooter. He hit 3 free throws with 0.4 seconds left.
So if the score holds, would this be the upset of the tournament so far? If we're looking at it between 21 winning over 77 or 2002 knocking off 52?
I don't think this 2000 team beating anyone could really be labeled that big of an upset. I still would give it to 2021 over 77 just because they haven't really proved themselves yet.
Of course, Lanier, thanks for talking about it a little too early as he gets the layup and the timeout, the final one for Coach Barron and the 2000 guys, as it's now a 2-possession game once again, and it comes down to free throws.
Yeah, and if 2000 does advance, we'll have 2 teams from this millennium in a Final Four matchup with a 3-point line, and then 2 teams from previous eras of the early 60s and late 60s, early 70s. Some good play, great players, all-time greats all over the court in the Final Four if this one holds.
And Calbaugh will have his second foul there as Tim Wynn will head back to the free throw line.
And Wynn can really ice this game now. And if 68 loses, we'll still get to see Lanier and Calbaugh in the Final Four, of course, as the 1 seed with that Final Four team.
Yeah, how much of an improvement did Calbaugh make between his sophomore and senior years?
Well, let's look. Calbaugh as a sophomore averaged 9 points. They didn't keep assists, so I'm sure he had a lot of assists, but on the 1970 team, he is an 83. On the 68 team, he is a 79. So we improved 4 points overall in those 2 years.
Here he is bringing the ball up, trying to get one final kind of possession. Satlin heaves it up, no good, and Wynn with the foul. And that is going to do it for the 1968, the Iron 5. The Iron 5 is going to fall to the Millennium, guys.
Like we said, this team, the highest win percentage in Bona history, and they went undefeated, ended the year 23-2. An all-time great team. That's why they are our 3 seed. But this 2000 team, also a big fan favorite team. I'm sure no one will be too bummed to see them advance. Just some great players.
Second free throw misses there, but it's still a 7-point game. Bob Lanier, no good. Nope. Over to Butler. That shot misses, and that'll do it. They're going to have Another party like it's 1999-2000 as the Y2K guys win in 2K21 here as they knock off the Iron 5 led by sophomore Bob Lanier 70-63 as they punch the final ticket in the Bona Cup to the Riley Center.
They had the only blowout of the first round against a good 1983 team with Mark Jones. Wynn did a fantastic job on Jones in that game. But 83 was our 11 seed. They weren't an all-time great team in this top tier with 68. 68, one of the best teams of all time in 2000, controlled this from beginning to end. Another emphatic win for Barron's 2000 squad.
Great performance by Bob Lanier there, 15 points out of Hayes and Butler, but not much else for them. Very even performance by all these players. Cyrus with 16 and 16. Tim Wynn with 15, and a great defensive performance. PvP with 11 and 13. Capers with 10.
Yeah, and I think the main factor in this one was what Wynn did on the defensive end to Billy Calba. Calba missed 15 shots in this game. And if those shots had gone to Lanier or Butler the way they played, this could have been a different outcome for sure.
You're looking at these shot charts now. Billy Calba, just you get a feel for him with this performance. He had no separation from Tim Wynn.
And when he did get separation, he was met with Caswell Cyrus underneath.
Yeah, those are the two guys you definitely don't want to be seeing every time. As we look at the final stats here, 38% shooting for the 1968 team, which is better than what they did in the first half, but it was not enough. If you look at the rebounding advantage, slightly in favor of the 2000 guys.
And this 2000 team, like I said, top 50 almost in defense that season. They're on average held opponents to only 64 points, so right around there for this 1968 team at just 63 points today.
I also did not realize it. 1968 never led. Look at that. Biggest lead was 0.
Wire to wire win, of course, with a capital W and 2 N's for 2000. 68 made it close at the end. They started to figure out a little bit and get a little bit of momentum, but it was too late. By the time Butler got going, seemed like under 2 minutes left and just too big of a gap.
So this is our last game of the second round. And before we go, let's preview the Final Four for everybody. So in case you're just jumping in on this at the end here of the second round, we got the 1970 Final Four team. They will be taking on the 1961 Sweet 16 team on Monday. And then this team you saw today, the 2000 squad, they will take on the 2018 team on Tuesday. So let's first start quickly with 70 and 61. What do you think of that matchup?
Man, these are two teams. Most people would say 1970 is the best team in Bona history. But if someone didn't say that, the team that they would say is the best is 1961 because of Tom Stith, an all-time great player, our second highest ranked player. So we're going to have the two highest ranked players in the Bona Cup going at it. Maybe the two best teams in Bona history in that top region fighting for a spot in the championship. So that should be a great game with two of our best players of all time.
And then as we look to see how 2000 can keep this magical run going, because they're the only team that went from the first round to the Final Four, they're going to be matched up with 2018. And I know guys like Patricio Prado and J.R. Bremer are going to be happy to see the 3-point line back. I'm most interested to see the defensive matchup that Tim Wynn's going to have on Jay Adams.
Yeah, Wynn went up against Mark Jones and then Billy Calba, two great point guards, but they're not in that echelon that Adams is at. So that will be another tough matchup. Adams and Mobley as well on the outside. It'll be interesting to see if maybe Capers plays a little bit on Mobley. They'll have the advantage inside the way Cyrus has been playing. He'll go from Lanier, and now it'll be Peasy inside, or if 2018 goes a little smaller like they like to do, Stockard at the 4 and Griffin at the 5. That'll be tough to do with a 6'10 Cyrus and a 6'11 Peter Van Passen. So 2000 will have advantages in the front court, I think. And these are the only two teams this millennium to have gotten at large bids. So that'll be another. I think this bracket shaped up really, really well. I don't think anyone would say any of these teams don't belong in the Final Four.
And like we mentioned at the beginning, Monday night at 8 will be the first Final Four game between 70 and 61. Then 2000 and 2018 will face off Tuesday night at 8. And the winner will take on, the two winners will take on each other at the Riley Center, the Chinese Riley Center presented by the Shanghai Bears, Thursday night at 8 on SB Unfurled's YouTube channel. For people who aren't familiar, I say the Chinese Riley Center. It's not a joke. It's actually what it is. For people who aren't familiar with all the 2K stuff, we'll quickly tell them about what they can expect out of the Riley Center as we move from the dingy Olean Armory and good old Butler Gym.
Yeah, one of the cool things about this tournament is we were able to modify the gyms and the arenas, so we're not only playing these games in NBA arenas or generic 18,000 seat arenas. That wouldn't have the Bonaventure feel. We wanted to bring you guys all the home courts that this team and the teams of the past have played on over the last 100 years. And of course, the Riley Center, a massive part of that. There is a gym in 2K that is pretty much the exact same dimensions and seat and setup as the Riley Center. It's from the My Career mode, and of course, it's not going to be exact, but it's as close as we could get. Unfortunately, there's two massive Shanghai Bears signs behind the baskets. So instead of the A10 team flags or the Final Four team banners, there are two huge red and yellow Shanghai Bears signs. But you'll just have to ignore that. Everything else looks pretty close to the Riley Center.
I mean, it's pretty much as absolutely close as you can get. I know we also use it for Davidson's arena because Davidson's arena and our arena both look kind of the same, where you have like large double tiered sections all along the sidelines, and the baselines are pretty short with a huge wall, and that's basically what we have here at the Riley Center. So when you're watching the gameplay, you'll absolutely be immersed into feeling like, oh, this is like the Riley Center. So once again, thank you so much for joining us. Our final score here tonight, 2000 takes down 1968 in the Iron 5, 70-63. But you Bobbleneer fans, he's not done yet. The Dauber will be on Monday in the Final Four against the 1961 Sweet 16 squad. This Millennium team will take on 2018 on Tuesday. Be sure to follow us on YouTube at SB Unfurled, also on Twitter at Bona Commenter on Twitter. Subscribe on YouTube so you can get all the notifications about when these games will happen. Thank you so much for joining us.